everybody. Welcome to another episode of Sightless Voices, Unleashing Potential. I am your hostie with the mostie, Jennifer Parrish. And today we have a really special episode for you guys. We have Miss Talia Woodard from the Lighthouse of Houston. Talia is actually one of my employees, so it's awesome. Yay. I hired Talia. I'm going to take pride in that. Anyway, so Talia will be sharing her inspiring journey of vision loss, attending a school for the blind, and then she'll share a little bit about her involvement in the blind and low vision community. And then we'll also discuss Talia's upward mobility opportunities at the Lighthouse of Houston, which is awesome. And she started as a scanning clerk, and now she will become an assistive technology trainer. So with that, before we get started, we're going to describe our set for our blind and low vision viewers. We're sitting in blue chairs with wooden tables next to us. We have a white brick background, blue lights, and a neon lighthouse sign. And with that, Talia, thank you for coming and hanging out with me today. Yeah. I really appreciate it. Can you start a little bit by telling us a little bit about yourself and your vision loss journey?
Okay, so I'm 25. I think I'm the baby of the Lighthouse. And
maybe you were Imagine.
She's a year older than me.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, you are then. I used to be that.
Yeah. So
I get it.
I do a lot. I play blind sports, read. I love reading. And, just pretty much anything involving sports or books is my alley for free time. But other than that, I'm a massage therapist and a technology trainer. And I love what I do. So
cool. What kind of blind sports? Just curious.
I play goalball mostly, and then I'm getting into blind soccer.
Really?
And blind tennis.
My brothers were texting me during the Paralympics, and they're like, Jay, they call me Jay.
Yeah.
Jay, have you checked out this blind soccer business? And I'm like, I had no idea that existed, man.
Yeah, blind soccer is pretty cool. It can get pretty dangerous.
Work? Yeah, I was going to say, I played beep ball and got hurt a couple of times. How does this work?
So you have a soccer ball and it has rattles in it, so you can hear it. And your soccer field has like a net around, like the entire thing is like closed off.
What?
Except for your ends where the goalies are.
Yeah.
And you just communicate as you're running on the pitch, and you have to yell "voy, voy, 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 voy" when you want to steal the ball from someone. So It's pretty crazy. It gets pretty violent.
Oh my God, that's so cool. Yeah. I love this.
Yeah, so it's really cool. So I do, getting into that, and blind tennis. Goalball is my number one sport. And then I just recently got into cross-country skiing.
Woo! Yes, you did Ski for Light, right?
I did.
Yay. So for those that don't know, Ski for Light, which I actually want to go on to, is basically it's a giant, so you can tell us a little bit more about it, because I've not been there yet.
So Ski for Light is a nonprofit organization that is solely based on cross-country skiing for blind people. And what they do is they pretty much raise funds and all that for the next year so they can host an event. So this year we were down in Provo, Utah, and there was about 150 blind or low vision participants. And then we also had mobility impaired skiers. So they do sit skiing, which is still really cool to see, because, you think like, I'm in a wheelchair, I can't ski. But no, they let you get out there and ski too.
That's cool.
And so they raise all these funds, and then you apply to go, and you go for a week, and you stay at this hotel, and you go skiing. And if you've never been on a pair of skis like me, they let you go out there and fall a bunch of times until you're ready to go down the big slopes and practice techniques.
So do they let you, so I know it's cross country, but do they let you do any downhill, or is that like not a thing?
So in cross country skiing, you do some downhill skiing.
Okay, cool.
It's just not like your traditional downhill skis. So the cross country skis are a lot skinnier than your downhill skis. The downhill skis are wider.
Gotcha.
And so with cross country skiing, it's more narrow, and you have to do what's called a snowplow, where you make like a pizza shape with your skis.
Yes.
And you have to make sure that those skis are digging in pretty deep, or else you will
You're gonna fly.
go crazy.
Oh yeah,
and you lose control. I did that a couple times.
The pizza pie thing was the first thing I learned when I learned downhill skiing, and that's how you stop.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, that is how you stop. So, but anyway, well, that's awesome. I really want to go do that, man. I got to put that on my bucket list of stuff.
Yeah, next year's in Colorado, Granby, Colorado. So
word. Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet. Okay. So let's talk a little bit more about your vision loss journey. Okay. So like, how did you lose your vision? Kind of that whole stuff.
Oh man. So, it started when I was 6 years old. I remember being in school and always having these really bad headaches, and I didn't know why. And I was living with my grandparents, and so I told my grandma, like, my head hurts, and she took me to the doctor, did all the, usual things, and they told her it was growing pains. And
what?
Yeah, they gave
your head. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
So they gave me medicine. And, my grandma didn't feel comfortable with me being 6 years old taking pills every day.
Right.
And she just was like, no, I'm not comfortable with this. So I stopped taking it. And then the next year when I was 7, I noticed when I was at school, I couldn't read my handwriting. I couldn't read what the teacher was putting on the projector. And the biggest thing for me that made me really feel like something was wrong was our playground had a chain link fence around it, and I used to be able to run to the playground with everybody else, and it went from me running with everybody to following people to not being able to keep up because of my vision, and I would run into the fence, and so I would walk, and I would, find the fence with my hands, and I would trail it around until I found the opening, and I wouldn't go play on the playground anymore. I would just kind of walk around because I couldn't see, and I didn't know where things were, and I do still have some vision, a pretty decent usable vision, but when you're 7 years old trying to figure out what's going on and why can't I see the way I used to, it's pretty scary. So
and it's sad.
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the chain link fence, and did you just like run like straight on into it, or
the first time? Yeah, I just ran into it, and it was like the side of the playground, so I just ran into it, and I was just like, oh, nobody saw me. That's good. So
yeah, no kidding.
And then from there, it
nothing
was
to
just,
see here.
Yeah, exactly. From there, it was just like I would find it with my hands, and then I would just follow it around until I found the opening to go into the playground.
Yeah.
So, and then after that, me and my cousin, I was still riding bikes and doing everything, and me and my cousin got into a bike accident. We bumped heads, and
yep.
It was actually that accident that caused me to go to the doctor. My mom, she was visiting me and my sister at my grandparents' house, and she noticed that like I was having a hard time seeing, like I'd run into walls and I was squinting a lot, and she was like, what's wrong? And I told her, and I was like, well, I went to the doctor and they said it was growing pains, and she's like, absolutely not. She's like, we're going and seeing a specialist. Yeah. And she took me in, and they looked in my eyes, and they're like, yep, there's definitely something going on. And I was rushed to Texas Children's Hospital here in Houston. And,
shout out to T.
Yeah, and I had emergency surgery, and I had a brain tumor that was compressing my optic nerves. So. Yeah.
TCH is what I was trying to get.
Yeah.
That's like T. What's the initials? Yes. TCH. Yes. Exactly. So you had a brain tumor. Wow.
I had a brain tumor. Yeah.
So talk a little bit, if you don't mind, about like kind of the treatment for it and all that. Wow.
So from my understanding, the first day that I got there and I did surgery, they put in a shunt. Exactly 21 days later, the shunt filled with fluid. So they drained it. They removed the shunt, and they went in and removed as much of the tumor as possible because it was a pituitary tumor. So, the pituitary gland is a very, very small part.
Right.
It's like pea-sized.
Yeah.
And so to remove that tumor all the way up to my optic nerves, it was pretty dangerous. And my doctor, he was trying to preserve as much of my vision as possible. So, his thought process was, let's go in and remove what we can, and what we can't is just going to have to stay, and we're going to have to monitor it. So that's what they did. They removed as much as they could. There's still some wrapped around my optic nerves. And after that, I had to do radiation treatment.
Yeah.
And I had to get MRIs every 2 months, I think, and then it went to every 6 months, and then every year, and then I haven't gotten an MRI since I was 18. So, but the last time I got one, they said that my tumor had shrunk. So,
oh, thank God.
Yeah.
And radiation on your head. Now, I've just, as pretty much everybody knows, I had breast cancer last year and went through radiation for that.
Right.
Now, I can't imagine, putting a child through like the positioning and I mean, what do they do? How do they do that with your head?
Yeah, it was terrifying. So
oh my gosh.
I remember the first day like it was yesterday. So I went in and I laid on this metal slab. It was just a metal table.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And the nurse, she was so nice. She was just like, I'm going to come over and put this jelly substance on your face and just relax and just breathe. And, we'll go through your radiation treatment. And then when you're done, we'll create you a mask to, cover you from that.
Yeah.
So it's just like, okay. But, when she put this on my face, imagine taking putty and spreading it all over your face. No nose holes, no mouth holes, no eye holes, nothing. Just spreading putty on your face and then like securing it down to a table. That's what it felt like. And it was so terrifying because it's just like I couldn't breathe, and I had this mask on and I couldn't move. I couldn't stop the radiation treatment in the middle of it. And it was, I think we did it 30 to 45 minutes, and it was the longest session of my life.
30 to 45 minutes every time?
Every time.
How many treatments did you have?
21.
Dude.
So, but the good thing is that after that first session, that putty that they put over my face, it actually formed into this hard mask.
Right.
And they did end up cutting a mouth hole
Thank God.
and nose holes. And I guess the only nice thing out of that was I got this pretty decorated mask. There was someone there to paint it and, make it look all nice. So
Oh, that's cool.
it was really cool.
That's really, really cool. Yeah, at least, do you still have it?
I do still have it.
Yeah. Yeah, hang on to those, trophies, if
Yeah,
you will, because that's
exactly.
battle scars. Man.
Oh,
They're
absolutely.
battle trophies, if you will. Cool. All right, so we've got the tumor treated now, and then you go to a school for the blind. So tell us about how that kind of came to fruition and your experiences with the blind school, wherever that was. This was in Colorado, right?
Austin.
Oh, you went to TSBVI.
I sure did.
Oh, yay! Okay,
I sure
cool.
did.
All right.
So when I lost my vision, immediately, I don't even know the process for it, but I just remember before starting school, a lady came to my house and she was just like, we're going to go outside and I want you to tell me what you can see. And I was like, okay. And I was walking around and I saw something on the ground and I stepped over it and she's just like, okay, well, I don't know. I think you should use a cane because you didn't even know what that was. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
But after that, it was her shoe. She took off her shoe
Nice.
and just let me trip over it and
Thanks,
stumble.
pal.
Yeah. So she ended up being my TVI. Teacher, the visually impaired, and she taught me Braille, and I got connected with the O&M instructor immediately. And between those two ladies, they told me about TSB.
Yeah.
And I did summer programs.
Yeah.
I went for JAWS training. I went for cooking classes. Just all kinds of programs and camps that they had. And of course, I did Lions Club as well. They got me connected with that. But for me, going to TSB started with summer camp.
Yeah.
And I didn't have any intentions of going to school at the School for the Blind long term. I just expected it to be summer programs. But my 8th grade year, I was about 12. My grandparents got divorced and we moved to the next town over. And that meant I had to leave my TVI behind. And I got to keep my O&M instructor, but I had to get a new TVI and new people, new school, new surroundings, and I just wasn't happy. And I ended up doing a summer, I think it was 4-week program at TSB. It was a catering program. So we'd go and just cook for 4 weeks and go around campus and, deliver food to people.
That's awesome.
And I did that, and I was like, if I can make it through this 4-week program, I think I can make it through school. So I applied with my VI teacher, and I got in. I got accepted, and I made the choice to go by myself. And I told my grandma, hey, I applied, and if I get approved, I'm going. And
how old were you at this point?
I was 13.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So, and she supported me. She was just like, whatever you want to do, I'm here for you.
Yeah.
So, and I made that choice to go. And, life at TSB was a little crazy. It was a little hectic.
I just went for the summer programs and had a lot of fun.
Yes. I would say the summer programs, they told me at the school, they're like, you're used to coming to summer programs,
it's not
but
the
school
same.
is different. And it was not the same. It was not.
Really? Tell us how.
Going to school every day was not like summer programs. You don't wake up and go to fun classes and do this and that. You have to go do real school.
Right.
And man, those people give a lot of homework.
Do they really?
I hate homework.
Because they're trying to keep you from acting a fool in the dorms, right?
Exactly. So I got to experience classes at TSB, and then for classes that they don't have, like foreign language and some more advanced classes, they send you to McAllen. or to McCallum, the high school there.
Right.
And so
I used to live right by it.
Yeah, I experienced going to McCallum for my English class and Spanish class, so that was pretty cool. And then, doing the classes at TSB. But that's where I got introduced to blind sports. So I used to be the co-captain of the cheerleading team.
Yeah.
I did track and field, and I did goalball. And with goalball, I got to travel everywhere. And going to TSB, I wouldn't change it. I would do it all over again if I could, or if I had to.
Yeah.
I actually got to discover myself and who I am. And I knew that I was very angry and depressed for, losing my vision.
Right.
And, I grew up in a small town, and I was the only blind person there, and I was known as the blind girl.
Yeah, buddy.
And so going to TSB was...
The stigma is gone.
Exactly.
It's so much better.
Exactly. I was like right there with everybody. I was an equal.
Yes, exactly. That's why I loved it too, man. I mean, part of me sometimes wanted to go do that time during the year, but it's not for everybody. But I really advocate for people that really want to go do this, man, because it's like people suck in public school.
Absolutely.
They suck. So
they do. They really do.
Yeah. So this is pretty cool that you were able to do that and do all these fun things too. I love that.
Yeah, it was great. And by the time I made it to my senior year, I remember going back and everybody was just like, oh, here's Talia. And I'm just, usually I'm just this, hi, hey,
sad.
Don't talk to me. And then my senior year, I was like, hi, how's everybody? How was your summer? And they're like, who the heck are you? I was like, I don't know. I just woke up and I feel great. And so everything changed. And I don't know.
That's awesome.
I just wasn't angry anymore. And I just was like, I think it was more so an eye-opener because they asked me what I wanted to do for college. And I was like, I can't go to college. I'm broke. I'm poor. Like, I don't know how the heck I'm going to afford that. And they're like, you're blind. You get a tuition waiver. I was like, what? I was like, I can do all kinds of things. So I think that really is what did it for me. Yeah. Just having that knowledge that I would be able to go to college and make something of myself and not just be this blind person sitting at home. Having people take care of me. Exactly. So, yeah, it definitely changed my life for the better.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then, how about some challenges? Did you have to overcome any major challenges during this time?
Yes. So one that I talk about more so with like my personal friends and family, but so during my vision loss because of my brain tumor and them removing part of my pituitary gland, I was on steroids and thyroid medication for a long time. And so, with steroids and the combination of the two comes major weight gain.
Major weight gain, yes, ma'am.
And I gained so much weight so fast. And, at 13 years old, going into all this, I remember
mid-puberty.
Right. I remember graduating when I was 17. I graduated high school and weighing myself, I was almost 300 pounds. Yeah. Just because of the medicine. Right. And that was like it for me. I just was like, I'm done. I hate myself. Yeah. And I think that was just my biggest major challenge. But I ended up, talking to my insurance and going through a weight loss program. And
that's awesome.
I ended up having weight loss surgery. And I lost, my doctor's like, well, because you're on steroids, you're only going to lose 50 pounds. So I was just like, you know what? I don't care. I want to do it.
Let's go.
And I did it. And I lost 55 pounds-ish and maintained it for years and then had a revision last year in February, actually. So
nice.
So.
Well, and then, you have some experience in like the blind beauty pageant world.
Yes.
So let's talk about that because this is very, very, very cool.
Yeah. So in 2022, so I'm involved in NFB, the National Federation of the Blind.
Yes.
And this is actually where I encountered the information for the pageant. In 2022, we had our convention in New Orleans, and I remember seeing on the agenda something about a pageant. And I was like, oh, we're having an in-person live pageant. So I was like, I'm going to put on my cutest outfit. I'm going to go in there.
Time to go shopping.
Right. I just was like, I'm going to go in there and, just look nice and ready to be in this pageant. I thought it was like a one-day pageant thing, right? And I get there, and everybody's sitting down in chairs, and everybody is just, there. And there's this lady, she comes up with a a sparkly skirt and you know, blazer outfit, and she's talking to us, and I'm like, okay, when is the runway gonna start? I'm ready. And she's just like, if you want to enter into the pageant, these are the application steps and blah blah. And I'm just like, what? I was like, what? I was like, what's happening here?
Yeah.
It wasn't a same day pageant.
Not a talent show.
It was an actual pageant.
Right.
So I had to go through an application process, and we were told that we had to submit a video and post it on YouTube, and whoever got the most likes on their YouTube video would be crowned Miss Independent.
Oh, that's a cool name for it.
Yeah, and then we went through the actual beauty pageant part, and whoever won the beauty pageant part would be Miss Blind Diva.
Nice.
So I was like, man, in this YouTube video, you had to show yourself doing something independent. And I was like, I don't know what the heck I'm going to do. I was like, I guess I can like hop on the bus and like go downtown or something. I don't know. I didn't know what I was going to do. So I kept missing the deadline.
Yeah.
And I remember I missed the first deadline. We got an email. They're like, we're extending it to this day. I missed the second deadline. And I was like, oh, whatever. Like, it's okay. I was like, maybe next year I'll do it. Then I get a phone call and they're like, hey, Talia, this is so-and-so. We have your name on the list saying that you're interested in being in the pageant. We want to know if you're going to submit your video. And I was like, yeah, well, I missed the deadline. So, you know, I understand. I'm not going to ask you guys to wait on me. And they're like, no, we'll extend it to August 17th, which happens to be my birthday.
Oh, yes.
And I was like,
nice.
Well, now I feel like I have to do it. So I did it. And me and my friend, we sat in my kitchen for 3 hours trying to figure out what to do. Yeah. And in the end, I ended up wearing this shirt that I have, made by a lady named Janetta Price. I forgot what her...
Oh, is it Blind? I don't want to say the wrong one.
I know,
yeah,
I forgot.
I know who you're talking about.
Yes, but it's a lady with an afro, curly afro, and it says Blind and Bougie.
Nice.
And so I wore my Blind and Bougie shirt, and I got in my kitchen, and we recorded this video of me baking a cake. And I baked this cake from scratch, and I made... Cool Whip frosting from scratch, and I turned the bowl upside down over my head, and that was the scariest thing I ever did, I think. And so I recorded this video, and I just had fun with it, and I ended up winning, and I became Miss Independent.
Miss Independent. Boy, Miss Independent can bake too, buddy. Absolutely. She brings stuff to work, and I'm like, dude, cool. Like, you want to cater some stuff?
Absolutely. I love cooking. I love cooking.
Yeah, you're a heck of a baker, man, so that's awesome.
Thank you.
So let's talk about like the blind kind of professional community and the organizations you're involved in. You said NFB.
Yeah.
Are there any other ones?
NFB and no, I don't think. I think it's just NFB.
Okay.
And then of course like our student divisions, but that's within NFB.
Within NFB, okay. What are some of the ways that you contribute to say NFB and the student divisions and stuff?
So I'm actually the president of our student division, the Texas Association of Blind Students.
El Presidente.
El Presidente. And then right now I am the chairperson for the for the membership committee of the National Association of Blind Students through NFB, just on the national level.
Yes.
I was just a co-chair on the fundraising committee, on all these committees I'm a part of.
Yes.
So
I just bought popcorn from you the other day, by the way. So
yes. Thank you for that. So that's for our Texas division.
The tabs, yes.
Yes, for tabs. We are raising money for that because we're broke. So
well, 3 popcorns from me. So
absolutely. So yeah. So that. Oh, and I'm a mentor for our blind students.
That's awesome.
So I do all these mentoring events, and unfortunately, sometimes it does have to pull me from work on Fridays, but I try to coordinate.
Yes, I know.
But honestly, I love working for the Lighthouse, but my biggest thing is helping other people and giving back. That's the most important thing to me.
Yeah.
And to know that I can be a mentor for other blind youth means so much to me because I didn't have anybody there for me.
Absolutely.
So knowing that I can do that, if that means getting scolded and missing a Friday, I have to take it because
I understand. Hey, I'm not going to be your supervisor for long, man. You're moving on up, baby. So it ain't going to be you and me anymore having these discussions. No, but it is for a very good cause, and I really you're an excellent an excellent example of a wonderful mentor, and you're so young, and it's like crazy that you're this young because like you're very mature for your age, and it's really awesome.
Thank you.
So can you share any memories memorable experiences or achievements that from your involvement in like the NFB and all this stuff?
Man,
Anything.
memorable experiences.
Yes.
I would say the pageant for one was definitely an experience. There was definitely some high points and low points in that. Would I do it again? Absolutely not. It was not for me.
Really?
But will I always forever keep the title of Miss Independent? Absolutely.
Heck
Because I would say though my biggest memorable experience was when I decided to go to training at the Colorado Center for the Blind.
Okay. Yeah, this is where I thought that was the school for the blind, but this is different.
No,
so
that's separate training. So this is a part of NFB. They have what's called their Structured Discovery NFB centers. And they do everything structured discovery. So if you have any inkling of sight, just a little speck of light, they are making you wear sleep shades.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, and you get a straight white cane, no folding. No, nothing. Just a straight white cane.
That's like prison. Okay.
It wasn't that bad. It was actually really fun.
Really?
Yes.
Was it enlightening?
It was.
Really? Explain.
So when I got there, my knowledge of O&M was crossing a street and just sliding my cane left and right, and that's it.
I gotcha.
That was my knowledge of O&M. But when I got there, they were like, heck no, we're going to get on the train. We're going to get on the bus. We're going to teach you the address system. Exactly. All under blindfold.
Wow. Yeah.
Cooking under blindfold wasn't an issue for me because I never have been that person to like stick my face in a pot and see if something is boiling.
Yeah.
I can't see colors very well, so I'm not going to stare at a piece of chicken to see if it's still pink because that doesn't matter to me.
Doesn't matter. Exactly.
So cooking under blindfold wasn't anything crazy. Technology, I will say I tried to cheat in technology one time. And I was like, if I just lift up my eye shades, I can look at the computer screen and try to figure it out. Yeah. Well, I was wrong because I took off my sleep shades. There was no computer screen there. Oh! Yeah, there was no computer screen. It was just speakers, a keyboard, and then the monitor on the side. That's it. There was no screen.
Wow.
And I was just like, where's the computer screen? And the tech teacher just started laughing. He goes, yeah, you tried to cheat, didn't you? And I was like, where is it? He goes, well, you don't need one if you're using JAWS.
Oh, yes.
Exactly. He's like, you use the keyboard for everything. So that was kind of an eye-opener to me. Like, okay.
Definitely.
And honestly, I did training in 2021. We're, freshly in 2025. Yeah. If you had asked me anything about technology one day before I decided to go to training, I would have told you, I don't know, you're asking the wrong person. But now, today, I'm an assistive technology trainer.
Yes!
And that was all because of going to training.
4 years. Wow. Well, shout out to Colorado Center for the Blind?
Absolutely.
That's pretty awesome because, that is definitely wow because this girl right here knows some tech.
Yep. So, and most people go and finish it in 9 months, sometimes up to a year. I finished the program in about 4.5 months. Of course you did. And then I graduated at the 6-month mark.
Nice. That's very awesome.
Yeah. I think that was my greatest accomplishment. And I learned a lot. I got into blind ice hockey while I was there. So that was pretty fun.
Okay. So we're going to switch gears right now and talk about your upward mobility here at the Lighthouse of Houston, of course. Okay. So can you tell us about your career journey at the Lighthouse of Houston and starting as a scanner and then moving up to the AT trainer? Yeah,
absolutely. So I had no intentions of really ever getting hired at the Lighthouse. I think I applied one time and never heard back. And I was just like, whatever, it's a bust.
Right.
But I was doing massage and I worked for a small company and, I wasn't having much luck with the clientele. So I was like, I want to switch gears and do something else and occupy my time for now. And I remember I met you.
Yes.
At a dinner. So I just remember being there and be like, okay, you're the person I need to talk to. I'm going to pitch myself to you really quick.
Yes, she cornered me.
Yes, and I gave you my 2-minute elevator pitch and I was just like,
but it was awesome. I'm like, you're hired.
Yeah.
Immediately. Yes.
Yes, and you're just like, okay, I'm going to go to the office. I'm going to pull your application and I will call you. And I remember getting home and be like, she's not going to call me. She's not going to call me. And then when you did, I was kind of shocked. I was like, whoa, she really called me.
Heck yeah, man. I'm a girl of my word.
Yeah. So, and when I got here, I was just like, okay, this scanning thing is crazy. I've never used Fusion. I didn't know anything about Fusion.
Yeah.
I had always been a JAWS user. Mm-hmm. And so I learned, our system and processes. And I'm a by the book person.
For sure.
And I am just like, tell me the steps and I'm doing it that way. Now, if I find an easier way that's more accessible to me, I'm going to do it that way, but I'm going to do what I have to do.
Yeah.
And, I remember my lead telling me, well, before I let you actually get hands-on to physical documents, you have to scan 100 times. And I was just like, what? I have to scan 100 times? And I think I got to like 60 something and he's just like, you're ready.
You're
and
good.
I was like, okay. And so it started there. And then I remember just saying to myself, like, I think I want to do assistive technology. I remember talking to the last person that was here in assistive tech and him saying like, yeah, I could really use assistance, with another person there to make things easier. And I felt like that was kind of my nudge to start the process.
And I remember you came to me and you were like, hey, Jennifer, I think people with lower vision can do, the job that you were currently doing at that point, because you had already discovered some like workarounds and stuff. And so that was, just part of your like beginning motivation to do this. And that's so awesome. I'm
Absolutely.
So proud.
So, and that just kind of started. And I remember like just reaching out to Chris Cole and asking them like, hey, this is what I want to do. How do I do it? And they sent me all the steps. And I remember being nervous, but I was just like, you know what? There's only one way I'm going to find out if I can do this, and that's by doing it.
Gotcha.
And I did it. And I think within like 2 months, I had like all my certifications done and tested out and got certified.
Yeah, girl.
And, started making the switch over to assistive tech and started off with like 2 days a week to now 3 days a week and to soon being full-time.
Being full-time. Yes, ma'am.
So.
How does the Lighthouse of Houston in general support upward mobility employment opportunities for individuals with vision loss?
I can say for myself, I've gotten nothing but support from not only you, but like, Terry and everybody above me.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I talked to Terry about this and he's just like, hey, all I can say is if you want to do it, go for it.
Yeah.
And the worst we can tell you is sorry, not right now, but maybe later.
Right.
And, all I've gotten from you guys is, we will work on it. And I've seen things happen for me that, elsewhere, I don't know if that would have been a thing. So,
well, Talia, thank you so much for joining us today. This has been a great, great conversation.
Yes.
And, your dedication and your work with the Lighthouse is really, really amazing.
Thank you.
Very inspiring.
Thank
you.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Yes.
So.
And she said she didn't talk at the beginning of this. Anyway, to our listeners, I hope you found this episode informative and motivating and inspiring, because Talia is all of those things and more. And remember, you can find more episodes of Sightless Voices Unleashing Potential on our YouTube channel and wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure to check out other episodes wherever you get those podcasts. Follow the Lighthouse of Houston on social media for updates, because we're always putting them out there. And until next time, take care and stay empowered.